This is a paintbrush. It killed Grace Frier. She was 22 years old when her boss told her to lick it, hundreds of times a day, every shift for 4 years. The paint glowed in the dark, beautiful, luminous, magical. It was also radioactive. By the time Grace realized what was happening, her jaw was already crumbling, pieces of bone falling out of her mouth, her spine collapsing, her body glowing faintly in the darkness, poisoned from the inside out. Grace Frier wasn't alone. Dozens of young women were told the same lie. The paint is harmless. Lick the brush, make it sharp, paint faster. They trusted their employer. They died because of it. And when they tried to fight back, the company tried to bury them a second time. This is the story of the Radium Girls, the women who glowed in the dark, and the corporation that watched them die. (1917) The United States enters World War I. The United States Radium Corporation in Orange, New Jersey, produces luminous paint for military equipment, watch dials that soldiers can read in trenches, aircraft instruments, gun sights. The secret ingredient, radium, a newly discovered element that glows without electricity. A miracle of modern science. The company needs workers. Young women with steady hands and sharp eyes. The pay is excellent. $1.50 per day. 3 times what most factory jobs offer for working-class girls. This is real money, independence, a chance at something better. The work seems simple enough. Sit at a table. Paint tiny numbers onto watch dials. Use a fine brush with luminous paint. The technique is called lip pointing. Dip the brush in paint. Bring it to your lips, shape it to a fine point with your tongue and mouth, then paint. Lip, dip, paint. Lip, dip, paint, thousands of times per shift. Management demonstrates on the first day. Company scientists drink the paint in front of new hires to prove it's safe. See, harmless. The radium is in such tiny amounts, nothing to worry about. Some doctors even claim radium has health benefits. Radium tonics, radium cosmetics are sold in pharmacies across America. It's the miracle element. The girls believe them. Why wouldn't they? And there's a bonus. After their shifts, the girls glow. Their clothes, their hair, their skin, everything luminous. They turn off the lights at home and shimmer like ghosts. Some paint their nails, their lips, their faces before going dancing. They're celebrities in their neighborhoods, the shining girls. Grace Frier thinks it's beautiful. She has no idea she's watching herself die. (1921) Molly Maggia has been painting dials for 4 years. She's one of the fastest workers. Management loves her. Then her teeth start hurting. Her dentist extracts one tooth, then another. The wounds don't heal. They ooze. Her jaw aches constantly. When the dentist examines her again, he makes a horrifying discovery. Her jawbone is crumbling. He can lift pieces of bone out of her mouth with his fingers. By 1922, Molly's entire lower jaw has disintegrated. The radium has eaten through the roof of her mouth into her sinuses. She can't eat, can't speak clearly. She's 24 years old and her face is collapsing. The company doctor examines her and writes one word in his report, syphilis, a venereal disease. The implication is clear. This is Molly's fault. Her moral failing, never mind that other girls are showing the same symptoms. Molly Maggia dies on September 12, 1922, age 24. Her jaw completely gone. Toward the end, the radium eats through her jugular vein. She bleeds out from her mouth. The United States Radium Corporation sends flowers to her funeral. They don't attend. 1923. Grace Frier's teeth start hurting. She left the company 2 years ago, but the damage is already done. Every time she licked that brush, every time she shaped it with her lips, she ingested radium, micrograms accumulating. Day after day, year after year, here's what radium does to the human body. It mimics calcium. Your bones absorb it eagerly, thinking it's nutrition. Once inside, radium decays, emitting alpha particles that destroy bone from within. The half-life is 1,600 years. The radium Grace swallowed in 1917 will still be radioactive in the year 3517. Her body has become its own poison source. Her dentist removes teeth. The sockets won't heal. Her back starts hurting. Then her hips. Doctors can't explain it. One suggests rheumatism. Another says it's nerves. She's just anxious, just a worried young woman. When she mentions working with radium, they assure her that's not the cause. Radium is safe. Everyone knows that. But Grace notices something else. Other girls from the factory are dying. Hazel Kuzer in 1923. Irene Rudolph in 1924. Sarah Malefair's jaw disintegrates just like Molly's. Quinta McDonald's hip fractures while she's standing in her kitchen, just standing there, because the radium has made her femur so brittle it snaps under her own weight. The girls compare notes. They realize the company lied. They've been poisoned, systematically, for years, and the company knew. Officials knew since 1924 that radium was dangerous. They implemented safety protocols for laboratory workers, protective gear, no mouth contact with radium. But they told the dial painters nothing. The girls used such small amounts, they reasoned, and girls were replaceable. Grace Frier decides to sue. Finding a lawyer takes 2 years. Most refuse. Suing a corporation is expensive, difficult, nearly impossible. The statute of limitations is a problem too. In New Jersey, you have 2 years from injury. But when was Grace injured? When she swallowed radium in 1917, or when symptoms appeared in 1923. Finally, in 1927, attorney Raymond Berry takes her case. 4 other girls join: Edna Hussman, Catherine Schaub, Quinta McDonald, Albina Larice. The press calls them the Radium Girls. The United States Radium Corporation fights viciously. Their strategy is simple. Delay. Drag out the case until the girls die, which doctors say will be soon. Company physicians testify the girls have syphilis, phosphorus poisoning, bad hygiene, anything except radium poisoning. The company hires private investigators to dig into the girls' personal lives, looking for scandal, anything to discredit them. The message is clear. These are just factory girls, poor, uneducated. Why believe them over respected scientists? Grace can barely walk by this point. Her spine has compressed. She weighs less than 90 pounds. At one court appearance, she's carried into the courtroom. They place her in a chair before the judge, a 28-year-old woman who looks 60, her body destroyed, her jaw partially gone. She testifies about lip, dip, paint. The courtroom falls silent. The trial drags through 1927 into 1928. The girls are dying as the case proceeds. Quinta's condition worsens daily. Albina can't stand anymore. The delay strategy is working. Just wait for them to die. Then something shifts. Public opinion turns. Newspapers publish photos of the Radium Girls. They're not anonymous workers anymore. They're daughters, sisters, young women with names and faces, poisoned by corporate greed. The story is too horrifying to ignore. June 1928. The United States Radium Corporation settles. Each girl receives $10,000, about $170,000 today, plus $600 per year for life and coverage of medical expenses. The company admits no wrongdoing, no apology, just money. Grace Frier lives until 1933, age 34. The radium in her bones glows long after burial. Quinta MacDonald dies in 1929. Catherine Schaub in 1940. Young women who should have grown old, dead before 40 because they were told poison was safe. But their lawsuit changes everything. The Radium Girls case establishes the right of workers to sue employers for occupational diseases. It creates the foundation for modern workplace safety laws. Their suffering forces recognition that companies must protect workers from hazardous materials, even profitable ones. The United States Radium Corporation operates until 1980. They never apologize. They never fully admit wrongdoing. They just move on, leaving behind hundreds of poisoned women and contaminated sites. The factory in Orange, New Jersey still stands. It's residential and commercial now, but the EPA designated it a Superfund site, one of America's most polluted locations. Geiger counters still register elevated radiation. The contamination will persist for centuries. The paintbrushes are gone, likely incinerated or buried, but scientific calculations suggest if one existed, it would still be radioactive. Radium-226 has a 1,600-year half-life. Those brushes would remain poisonous until the year 3500. There's a photograph of Grace Frier from 1926. She sits in a chair, dressed nicely, looking at the camera. Her face is gaunt. Her eyes hold determination. She knows she's dying. She knows why. And she's decided to fight anyway. That photograph hangs in museums now. Visitors pause at it longer than other exhibits, not because of anything supernatural, but because her eyes hold such courage, testifying while dying, refusing to stay silent as her body crumbles. The Radium Girls weren't heroes at first. They were just workers, girls trying to earn money, support families, buy nice things. They painted dials, gossiped, went home glowing like stars. What made them extraordinary was what they did after being poisoned. Grace spent 2 years finding a lawyer while her spine collapsed. She testified in court while dying. She forced a corporation to admit, through settlement if not words, that they'd poisoned her for profit. The old factory site remains contaminated today. The EPA monitors it regularly. Geiger counters register elevated readings in soil and structures. You can't see the glow anymore with human eyes, but it's there in measurements. Invisible poison outliving our grandchildren's grandchildren. Somewhere in New Jersey, buried in earth contaminated for 1,600 years, lie the bones of girls told to put poison in their mouths. Medical researchers who exhumed remains decades later found the bones still glowed faintly in darkness, still testifying about what happens when corporations value profit over safety. Grace Frier's paintbrush is gone, but the question it asked remains. When someone in power tells you something dangerous is safe, do you believe them? Or do you ask for proof while you still have a jaw left to speak?